Okay, hello and welcome aboard this Delta flight from Cincinnati to Southwest Florida. We'll just get things set up. I haven't flown the CRJ-900 for a while. Let me just get my charts up so I know what I'm doing. Let's see where we are on the airport. We're departing out from runway 27. Okay, I'm not too far away from runway 27. That's always good to see. Just to see that there, and we'll get the payload and fuel set up that we're going to be carrying today, which means I just need to go on here a minute. 5616 kg. That's out with the 593. Okay. So, checklists. Nose wheel steering off. Hydraulic pumps off, landing gear down, flaps. Snaps radar and manages flaps APU on. Oh yes, and the one I always forget is to start my flight recording.
Please be sure to fasten your seatbelt, return your seat back and fold.
Oh wow! You're up early. Yes, I haven't streamed for a while. Hi there. Yeah, I'm in the CRJ today. Haven't streamed for ages. I've been having real problems with Streamlabs recently, getting it to work. It's finally working. Yeah, I finally got a bit of time to do some streaming, which is good. So we're off down to Southwest Florida today. It's going to be around about a 2-hour flight, so I'll just try and remember how to start up this aircraft. I haven't flown it for ages. Let's see, battery master on, and I believe we need to put those on as well. So it's the batteries on, and then we just need to start the APU. There. And then there. So yeah, I'll just run through the checklist, get ourselves up and running, and then I'll be able to focus on chatting to you or anyone else who's watching this for that matter. Although we're quite early in the day, so I don't know if anyone else will be about. But this was primarily just to make sure my stream's still working. Let's have a look. Electrics has requested AHRS is the one I can never find on this. But these can be set to nav. There's the nav, emergency key and safety pins on board. Hydraulic 3A on, which I believe is this one. Okay, that all sounds promising. I believe the APUs have come online. Yep. FMS initialization complete. One thing I've got to fix for these streams is getting the chat overlay. As at the moment, it just pops up on the. Yeah, it does. It's great, isn't it? It's probably pretty much what it is. It doesn't. I haven't really explored too much. I pretty much only use it for the checklist. I know on some of these tablets you have now, you can actually import the charts on and stuff, but I haven't really explored too much of functionality. I don't fly the CRJ too often actually because it's got no auto throttle, and with the flight stick I've got, trying to get the throttle to settle at a steady speed, as you'll see from this flight when we get underway, is an absolute nightmare. FMS initialization. Let's see, it comes down here. Let's grab that. Got to remember how to set up the FMC on this plane as well. Right, let's set the unit ref. And one, I forgot to get GSX doing its thing. Hold on. Doors. Open. Right, let's just get GSX doing its thing. Cross boarding. Yeah, that would do. Right, where were we? Let's see, checked. bother with the jetway. Arm reset ELT. Now that's up here somewhere. Yep, that is on armed, and I think it's no. Okay. As far as I remembered where that was actually. Nice to test windshield low. CS2. I think.
Good morning. Hello.
Emergency lights armed. Trying to, that's here. Oops, I always get that one wrong. Standby compass is good. Nose wheel steering already did turn off. Your dampeners engage. Remember where they are now? Here. Source select panel, no pedestal is checked. Passenger signs on. So no smoking. Oops. And seatbelts. Landing elevation set. So the landing elevation is pretty much going to be sea level because Southwest Florida is very low lying. So let's see, we're about 27 feet above sea level there, so that should be, yeah, there we go. Altimeters set, yep. FMS radios now set. FMS, so we'll program in the FMS now, or the FMC rather. Okay, so we are of course in Cincinnati. I'm just going to have to jump off the YouTube bit onto SimBrief a minute, so if you type anything in the chat I won't see it for a second or two. Let's see, KCVG, I've really got to remember how to do this now. Oh no, that's fine. Flight plan. So yeah, we're going from KCVG all the way down to KRSW. Okay. I need to get a new mouse. It takes ages. Alright, so we are departing out from runway 27, I think. Yes, runway 27. And I was going to take, this is where I've got to get my charts up a minute. I was going to take, because SimBrief didn't really give me a very good plan. So we're going to take the Kenlin 5 departure, which hopefully there's going to be an option down here. Yes. Transitioning. I don't want to transition through anything actually. HYK, where's that? Can't see it on my. Can't see it on my. Oh yeah, it's down there. No, I just want to go to Kenlin. So let's execute that. Let's come back to the flight plan. So from Kenlin. Yeah, that's better. So from Kenlin, right, I now need to overlay this onto, bear with me a minute, this is where it gets complicated. And then from Kenlin I want to go direct to Dakos. Oops. Yeah, SimBrief, especially for American flights, doesn't always generate very good flight plans. So you do find you have to improvise quite a bit. In fact, Dakos doesn't even come up on there. So from Dakos, oh, I see. So from Dakos we can take J43 and pick up VXV. Okay, that makes sense. Hopefully this is going to work. It's just trying to balance Navigraph with did I say VXV? What I've got on SimBrief. Okay, we're back in business. So from VXV it's J46. down to, oh great, that's going to beep at me relentlessly now. Better shut the doors. There we go. Right, where was I? Right, so we've got to AMG, then it's J85.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
And that will see us down to Tay. Excellent. This page. From Tay we want J75 to Kernel. Now I've got to jump on my charts back down to the approach. This is where it gets really complicated. Okay, so come down here, let's go down to just approach. We'll overlay that because I want to pick up at Tepe. So kernel, we've just come to kernel, brilliant. So we can now go direct to Tepe. So we want the Tepe. Yeah. Okay, so you want the arrival is going to be into runway 6. And 6 via the Joseph 5. Yeah, via Tepe. Brilliant. Execute. Flight plan. So direct to Tepe. Hold on a minute. Let's do it like this. No, I didn't want to do that. Right, I think we've got it fixed now. Hopefully. Okay, so we got it fixed. Let's go to and is performance. That's the one. Right, so our cruising altitude is going to be 30,000 feet today. FL300. Brilliant. I thought I asked that to send a sim. And fuel. Oh yeah. Copy data to that. That's all filled out nicely. We're still going to calculate our V speeds, haven't we? I think. Okay, so I think we're good there. Right. So fill out the flight plan. Yeah. Yeah, the good old Aerosoft cabin announcements. Well, I tell you one thing I do miss from Aerosoft, because I don't have the Aerosoft A320 anymore. I used to like it when you could set it up with and have the co-pilot doing the checklist for you. That used to be quite useful, especially when I was learning the plane. Let's have a look now. Back to the checklist. Okay, so we finally got the flight plan done, I think. Let's see. So, off on board, set data, doors closed and lock, beacon on. obviously letting the ground crews know we're going to be pushing back shortly. Fuel pumps and quantities, so we can put the fuel pumps on now. Hydraulic pumps auto on. There we go. Parking brakes required. Engine start. Okay, so we're ready to push back. I just need to see which way I need to push back. I believe it's to the, because we're departing runway 27. Oh, agony of choice. I can, no, it's going to make more sense to push back to the left. So nose to the left. Yeah. Right, so engine start is where I'd got to. Yep, so we can go GSX, perfect pushback and departure, nose to the left please. There we go.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
I've got to download actually the new GSX update at some point, because I believe it now has an option that lets you do the pushback similar to better pushback from X-Plane, where you get the overhead view and you can plan it out more accurately. I did see something on YouTube a while back, but I haven't updated it, so I'll have to have a play about with that at some point. Because sometimes the certain airports, certain gates, the current pushback can be a little bit
Launcher check completed. Bypass pin
interesting.
inserted. Release parking brakes.
Release parking brake. Where is that? That's down here, isn't it? Right, there we go.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Yeah, now I've just got to remember how you actually start this thing. Oh yeah, here we go. Just wait for it to throttle up. That's all coming back to me now. Okay, let's put the fuel in. Okay, we'll be able to start the left engine in a minute. In fact, we may as well do that now. Okay, so they're starting nicely. What we got next after engine start, fuel feed test complete. There we put all that on. So Gen 1 and Gen 2 on auto. There we go. Yep. Bleed valves and packs auto on. Reset fan on. On. Yep. APU we can turn off.
Set parking brakes.
Hold on, let's just set my parking brake. Yeah. So APU we finished with, that can be turned off. Anti-ISIS required, probes on. Where's the probe heat thing on this? Oh, here, there we go. Okay. Electrics, rudder, nose wheel, steering can be armed now.
Unlocking gear.
Zaps and flaps. Oh yeah.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Do that, I believe. Okay, we've cleared all that. We've extended our flaps, seatbelts, parking brake is set. One thing we haven't done, which we'll do in a minute, is set up the autopilot. That's FMS auto tune, brake temp checked. Lights and strobes as required. Okay, so we're going to need obviously the taxi lights. And
left is clear. Right is clear.
Those are the landing lights. Those are off. Strobes we don't turn on just yet. Nav lights can come on. And that's transponder. Oh yeah, transponder TCAS. I'll just tune it to 2000. It's the sort of default one on that sim. Now just remember how you make this active. No. How do you turn this? Oh wait a minute, it's down here somewhere, isn't it? I think. I can't remember how you turn the TCAS on this damn thing. Gee, hold on. Let's get a more overhead view. How do you turn the TCAS on? Yeah, I don't really need to worry about it because I'm flying offline, but it would be nice to remember how. I tell you what, we'll get on flying the plane, and I'll try and remember how to turn the TCAS on once we're en route, which is obviously not how you do things in reality. But hey, we're in a simulator, so I can do what the hell I like, really, especially as I'm not flying online. Right, I think everything else is good. Please AP, light passenger signs required, thrust reversers we need to arm, I do believe. I know it says off, but we need to arm them. Smart takeoff procedure, is it this button maybe? No. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Passenger signs required, landing elevation, we've already done all that. TCAS, let's just skip past that bit. Oh no, that's the okay. I think we're all good. Let's taxi on out to. Oh yeah, one thing I want to do. Hold on. What my V speeds? 144. That seems rather fast. No, mind you, no, we are quite full of fuel. It's quite a long flight. That's probably right. Okay, 144. Let's see. So yeah, VR 144. We just need to set up the. So we're cruising day at 30,000 feet. Good luck getting to that in a heavy CRJ. It's not the most. Now I've got to remember how to do this. Let's see, set that, Jesus. I'm not really too worried about the speed knob because it's not got auto, I think you press speed to get the climb though, don't you? Autopilot engage, autopilot disengage. Okay, I think we're good. Did we turn the, take the parking brake off? I'll find that in a minute. No, we didn't. Wakey. Right. Move plane. Oh, there we go. That's always a positive sign, isn't it? Oh, hello. Big puff of smoke. So, according to my Navi map thing, we can, or we need to rather, just pop round to the right here. Hey, there we go. Let's really throw the passengers across the taxiing, in case you haven't noticed, is really not one of my strong points. Oh dear. It's the aircraft, it's not me. I'm going to blame my tools. Some aircraft do taxi a lot better than others. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Quite an overcast day here in Cincinnati. We're heading down to Florida, of course. That tends, despite it being the Sunshine State, on all the times I've ever flown through it on simulator, it tends to be anything but the Sunshine State. I would be more tempted to call it. Still got bloody stutters, go away. I'd be more inclined to call it the thunderstorm state, actually, to be honest. Right, we're just going to ignore anything that the live traffic is doing. Oops.
Approaching. 2.
Taxi straight out onto the runway. Okay. Farewell, Cincinnati. Oh, God, why does this stutter? I've got good frames, but it just...
7.
You see, I've got 30, 40 frames. Why is it stuttering? This stutter at P3D just drives me up the wall with its smoothness. Right, let's get the lights on then. That we need. There we go. Probably should have turned them on earlier. What the hell? Okay, we're good. We're good. I think we're good anyway. Is there a clock timer? Yeah, here. It's gonna work. Elapsed time. Okay. Toga then. Let's get out of here. I think we've got everything set up properly. We'll find out in a minute if we haven't. Now, Toga. That's the one. Brilliant. There we go, my co-pilot's got cold. It's just sneezed all over the displays. Ooh, why does that speed jump up like that? Okay, we can rotate. Oops. There we go, positive rate. Let's get that gear up. Let's engage the autopilot. Let's put speed on. Oops. And we want climb. And then we want to get the speed up to about 250, I believe, so this should work. No, why are you slowing down? Speed up, otherwise I'm going to stall it. Jesus, what is this plane doing? Why are we slowing down? You're making me nervous. Speed up. Come on now. Get us speed up. Phew, there we go. Nearly managed to stall it on takeoff. That wasn't very smart, was it? We are speeding up now. Get the flaps up in a minute. That should help speed us up a bit quicker. Don't know why we're loitering around at 3,000. I would rather this thing would continue to climb. Let's go flaps up. At least we're increasing speed now. Okay, we're nicely on our way. Should start to climb a little bit more now. There we go. I'd rather have that on legs, to be honest. Now we did get the elapsed time. Brilliant. Let's have a quick weather check. What we can expect on arrival. Obviously it may change within the duration of the flight, but currently there's no wind at all. And look at that, it's overcast, 900 feet. Yeah. Welcome to Florida, folks. Mind you, I suppose it's key to remember that this is live weather, right? So obviously I'm flying this at 9 in the morning UK time, so obviously that's going to be early morning Florida time. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's sort of maybe overcast, a bit foggy, misty. That's just one thing you got to take into account when you're flying in a completely different time zone, as the weather may not always be what you might expect because of the time of day. Okay. Well, we may as well turn off the landing lights. Don't think we really need those on anymore. Okay, now the taxi lights come off. Strobes, that's all can stay on. I can disarm these reversers as well. There we go. Oh, I need to set the QNH, which I believe the barrow button is down here somewhere. There we go. Done. So yeah, rather annoyingly of the CRJ planes, they hold their speed beautifully in the climb, because I put the speed mode on, it climbs 250 knots. But in cruise, some genius decided, hey, let's not have an auto throttle. Let's ooh, my CPU usage just went through the roof there, Jesus. Yeah, I've got Process Lasso up and running, which monitors my CPU usage. Just had a massive spike just then, I don't know why. It's been trying to sort of iron out performance and what have you. I seem to be getting much turbulence. Turbulence I seem to be having a real problem with on both simulators at the moment, in that it just doesn't really seem to be depicting very well. You'll get like pockets of it, and then it will just go away. It's really quite frustrating. I really hope the new simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator obviously, will address that and give a really realistic turbulence experience, because even in X-Plane I find, even with active sky, you just don't get it. It's quite frustrating. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting these CPU spikes. It's really weird. Just keeps, yeah, the graph is just all over the place. Just keeps only the first 4 cores, I think. Oh, this is a good project. Let's see. Oh no, all 8 cores are really spiking. It's really a shame. It's really spiking CPU usage. Oh, interesting. I'll tell you what, I've noticed that I've got a whole load of crap background processes going on, and I'm pretty damn sure I don't need them all, to be honest. I'll have to have a tidy up of my computer at some point. Let's come off that map. Yeah. Okay, so we've left Cincinnati, flying in a southerly direction. We'll pass Lexington at some point soon. Not that you're going to see it through this wonderful cloud. Got a pretty strong crosswind there. At least it's a crosswind rather than a headwind. Some nice wing views. As we climb above the cloud. Oh, and there's our aircraft for today. It's a really weird looking plane, isn't it? Because it looks like the tail stabilizer just looks smaller than it should be. I wouldn't say it's my favourite. I do like the planes with the, you know, the engines and the tail, but you know, the 717 is very nice. I used to absolutely love the back 111. Flown on those for real, and they look great. But this just, I don't know. It's just, There's just something about it. I don't know. It's not horrendous. It's certainly not a super ugly looking plane. It's quite sleek and everything, but I don't know. It's just something that doesn't, you know, make me think that that's a. It's not a bad looking plane, but it's not an absolutely amazing looking plane. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, my favourite plane, commercial. Yeah, I don't know, 747. Obviously, got great memories of flying on those. I actually really like the Boeing Dreamliner that I flew on to Canada recently. That's a great aircraft. That's very nice. And obviously, I do like the good old 737 and the Airbus A320 as well. So. I really want at some point, I don't know why I want to, because it's another aircraft I think looks horrendously ugly, but for something really wants me, or make me, no, I'm mixing my words up, there's something that really wants to make me want to fly on a Dash 8 Q400. I have no idea why. It is a horrendously ugly aircraft, but I just think it would be yeah, fun to go and fly on one, so maybe at some point when I've got some time and money to burn, I will I'll go and do that. Okay. So yeah, as I said, we're cruising at 30,000 feet today. I have to try and remember how to set up the VNAV thing on this. I seem to remember you just put in a waypoint and then it gives you a rate of descent that you try and match on the vertical speed here. If my memory serves me correct. I don't know if that's the proper way you should do it, it's the way I do it. And I also seem to remember this plane can be a bit of a nightmare to land. Haven't had the best of landings recently. I was going to upload a flight I did from, funnily enough, down in Florida, Orlando, oh, it was only the approach, into Halifax. That was with the FS Labs. However, I had some problems with that on landing. For some reason, it decided to do its old go straight off the runway routine and then sit on its tail. So I thought I'd fixed the issues with the FS Labs. It appears that I haven't. So yeah, and then as I was coming into land, it was on the old nose down attitude again. It was only by slowing right down to nearly stall speed that I managed to get it at a more realistic profile. So I'm really not sure what is going on with the FS Labs at the moment. As I say, I thought I'd fixed the problems, but yeah, unfortunately it would appear I possibly haven't. So I've got to figure out what's going on there, which is a bit of a pain. And then yeah, I was going to stream a flight I did from Basel to Budapest last night. Had a couple of problems with that. Firstly, I couldn't get OBS Streamlabs to work. I got the old black screen. For some reason it seems to have fixed itself now. I've no idea why or how. And then the other main problem I had is I couldn't get on VATSIM. So I was using Xsquawkbox. I downloaded audio for VATSIM, which was supposed to make Xsquawkbox work. The new codec didn't. So I had to abandon that. So in the end, I just flew the flight offline. I have now downloaded Xpilot, which is another VATSIM bit of software. So I will be trying that out later. I'm going to do another stream later. We're going to be going from Rome to Nice with EasyJet. That'll be over on X-Plane, of course. And that will be trying out Xpilot. I did finally get to experience a new VATSIM codec the other day, the flight I did from Edinburgh down to Birmingham in the good old Dash. A few things I realised about the Dash recently, I'll come to that in a minute. The codec, yeah, absolutely love the new sounds. Really sounds great, really do like it. So yeah, coming back to the Dash, apparently, because I've always been landing it on flaps 35, and apparently that's only really used for very short runways, so should really be landing it on flaps 15, and you should power through the flare. You shouldn't cut the power like you do with the 737 and things. That tends to make you slam down quite hard. So when I get rostered in the Dash again, which happens fairly frequently, hello, we're struggling to. Why has my speed suddenly gone up? No, let's bring that down, because otherwise we'll never reach. We'll never reach 30,000 feet. Yeah, so next time I get an outing in the Dash, I will try landing on flaps 15 and see if that gives me a more nose up, because I'm pretty sure you shouldn't have a nose down profile. Because if you look at the landing in Birmingham, it looked like I was about to become a dive bomber at one point. It's ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be like that unless it's a really short runway. Anyway, we're about to reach our cruising altitude, 30,000 feet. We're just passing, or just past Lexington, off to our right there. There it is. Here we are. There's Lexington. Doesn't it look lovely? Beautiful weather today in Lexington. Okay, 30,000 feet. Now what you'll see happen is obviously my speed will go up. And then what will then happen is I will try to control that speed, and it won't do a very good job of sitting in the same place. There's a reason why that flight is playing very often is obviously because of the auto throttle. Because often I don't always have time, obviously, to sit there for the full flight. Usually I take off and I leave it paused top of descent, as I have to go off and do a lot of other stuff. I'm insanely busy at the moment, although I do have a couple of weeks free now. And of course, you know, it flies along quite happily. I come back when it's whenever I can and land it, which is why you typically only get descent and arrival videos on my channel, so I don't always have time to sit there for the whole flight. Yeah, of course, the problem with this is it's just impossible to get the speed. I'd either come back and find it massively oversped, or I come back and find it stalled and crashed. So yeah, that's why we don't get too many outings in this. And typically, if I have a multiple choice of aircraft for a route, I will choose anything but this thing. Unfortunately for this flight, which is quite a long flight, so I'm surprised it's the only aircraft choice, I was only given the choice of a CRJ, 200 or 900. I don't have the 200, I just have the 700 and 900. As you can see, we're close to overspeed now, and I'm trying to ease up on the throttles, and it's really hard to find that sweet spot. We're still... Okay, now I'll probably start dropping away again in a minute, and then, yeah, there we go. Now it's dropping back down, see? And it's just very impossible to get a nice sweet spot. Really quite annoying. Yeah, see, we're dropping away again now. Right, what I'm going to do in a minute is work out have to. The trouble is, if you want to go away and do stuff like this, I then have to really keep an eye on my speed. And what I want to do now is work out. So let's say Tropic is at 3000. Okay. So now I need to go on to VNAV. Let's see, VNAV setup, I believe, and TROPC. No. Next page. I just got to remind myself how you set this up now. Ah, that's the one. Put that there. And then that will give me my rate of descent that I need. So I'll go on here. So the speed's really dropping away now, so now we have to increase it. Let's see, VNAV, there we go. So we just leave that in there, and that's all I need to use to calculate when I need to descend. So some great place names in America. Off to our left we have a place called Hazard, which will be passing soon. Again, we can't see any of this because of massive amounts of cloud. Speed on. So we've got a slight headwind now. It's going to slow us down a bit, unfortunately. And as you can see, now we're fast coming up to the overspeed again. So, and this is the battle I constantly face with this damn aircraft. I don't know if it's partly because of my... I've only got really sort of like a... I'm using literally a £30 flight stick. It's called a Mad Cats or something. And it served me well over the... over the years, but I would like to get a proper yoke and pedals at some point, subject to approval from the boss, my wife. She's not a fan of cables, and apparently if I got these things it'd need more cables, which okay, fair enough, it would, but come on, you just have to embrace the cables. You cannot, you know, it's not a proper setup unless you've got cables everywhere. Really? Tell me I'm right. So directly ahead of us is Knoxville. Jefferson City will be off to our right. Kingsport. There we go. Still horrendously. I need to... Oh, we've only got 40... I've got a weather radar on this thing. Just realised I'm... Oh yeah! That's what I was going to do, work out how you activate the Alright. I'm pretty sure. Ah, yes, here we go. Ta-da! I knew there was a switch down there somewhere. There we go. Right. Now, better check the speed. We're losing speed again. Now, what I've just realised I haven't done is turn the weather radar on. There we go. Brilliant. Massive speed. Wow, it really is a overcast day. And again, as you can see, the speed has crept up, so now we have to choose off the speed. So it's, but yeah, I was going to change the range setting, wasn't I? Where do I do that? Oh yeah, yeah. There we go. Cool, we've really got quite some winds. 116. They're the same winds I had yesterday when I did my flight in the other direction up to Halifax. So there's still obviously the system that's driving that's still very much present in the area. Oh, I've just realised I don't have any live ATC on in the background. Normally I put some of that on, don't I? Let's see, what airport should we get it from? Oh, choices. New York. Let's see, we got North Carolina. And there's probably not going to be much ATC on because it's only going to be about 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see what Charlotte is doing. But I doubt we'll get too much chatter because it's about 4 in the morning, so it's a bit early. We'll see. So yeah, we're just passing Knoxville now. So to make sure we keep our speed under control. Seems to be okay at the moment. I'll just ease it back a tad. It's some quite high cloud ahead of us as well. Mountains? I don't remember there being mountains. No, apparently there are. Speed is creeping up. So yeah, some quite high cloud coming ahead of us there. I did put the weather radar on, right? Weather radar, where are you now? No, you're there.
You have 13, 14 installed for it, only 1 left, then it's on script.
Tilt that down. Or gain. Tilt down slightly. Okay, so we've got a break in the weather, so we can see, as I said, we're just passing Knoxville, I think it was. Oh, why are you stuttering? Behave. Actually, I want to get MSI up, because I want to see what impact we're having on the... Okay, it's playing ball. Ah, interesting. Why am I, Huh. That's doing that. Let's see if we can get up on here then. MSI, there we go. I want to see what impact we're having on the GPU. So GPU usage is only around about 85 to 88. It's on the upper limit, similar to so I just don't know why we're getting those status, because we're not maxing out the GPU usage, we're not maxing out the CPU usage. It's just driving me up the wall, to be honest with you. Okay, we'll turn MSI off for now. Let's just literally just see how it's doing that. So ahead of us, we got Athens. Yes, Athens in America, not Greece, obviously. And that is not all that far away from Atlanta. Obviously one of the biggest airports, biggest hubs, not just in the States but in the world. As we get closer to Florida, we will of course get a weather update. Hopefully the low cloud will disperse. Would be nice actually to have a sunny arrival into a Florida airport for once. I don't think I've ever got one, either arriving or departing. I've been to Southwest Florida on the sim before. And Orlando recently with Air Canada, and every time the weather's been not great. A little bit of snow over the higher ground there, as you can see. And finally, the clouds are clearing. I need to really want to look up why I'm still getting stutters, because what frames are we getting here? Look, 40, 50, 60 even, I just saw then. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should be capping the frame rate, maybe that would make it smoother. I honestly don't know. It's a strange one. I haven't done any of my US tour for a while in the light aircraft. I almost want to kind of hold off until Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out to finish that off. I may look to try and get it finished, because I've only got about, I don't know, 15, 16 legs left to do or something. So I should really try and get that finished off. Maybe. Then we'll have to see. Yeah, see, we're getting close to that overspeed again. Try and slow ourselves down. Oops. Is it just... Okay. Oh, the weather's completely cleared. So I don't know if we'll see far enough to see Atlanta, but it's off there to our distant right. So we're about halfway through the flight now. We're over halfway through. See if we'll see a top of descent anywhere. There we go. So we've not got huge distances left to go. We'll get a weather update, might as well. Oh, weather request, destination station. Still overcast, 22 degrees, mind. Visibility is still pretty reasonable, but it is overcast down to 900 feet, so we're not going to see that runway till quite late, but 900 feet, that's not too much of a problem as visibility is okay. Speed's creeping up again. very close to the overspeed. So one of my friends is just messaging me on Messenger, so that's what happens. I only need the slightest distraction and you can overspeed. Tallahassee. There's an interesting place name. Yeah, we are getting a little bit turbulent. See, that looks really good when you get that little turbulence chop. I do like it. Watch the speed creeping up again. Top of descent has just appeared. So we will be not too far away from descending down into Southwest Florida, Fort Myers.
576 short approach runway 18 center.
The ATC's woken up. Look, my speed's going all over the place at the moment. Now it's just dropped right off again. Picking up some speed and power now.
Nope.
Yeah, God, what's going on with the speed? Let's get that under control.
62 direct to Tommy, 718, 7000.
Okay. Oh God, no, we're still quite a way. I thought that was 120. That's 160 on there, so we're still a little way away from our top of descent. So really not too much further to go now. Let's start configuring for our arrivals. Of course, we're just going to need to verify the ILS frequency. Where I tune that in on this. Oh, here, yeah. So ILS frequency is 111.5. Go. Speed creeping up again. This is ESA. Oops. ESA throttle back. Okay, so we tuned in the ILS frequencies well ahead of time. We get another weather update just to see if, oops, if that cloud has or is showing any signs of shifting. Wind 360 at 6 knots. If anything, it's dropped down to 700 feet now. It was 900 feet, it's now down to 700 feet. So, yeah, it's actually got worse. Cloud base has dropped by 200 feet. So I hope it's not going to sink right down and become fog. We'll just get the map up a minute. I just want to double check the ILS frequency because we may need to rely on it quite heavily. How's this go? There we go. 11.5, yeah. Beautiful. And why has it gone and done that? Crap. No, don't do that to me. Curse you. Game capture. Oops. There we go. Done. There we are. I don't know why it likes to do that. Come on now. I've got it back on the big screen. I don't know why YouTube's lagging that out a bit. Yeah, there we go. We're back. We're back. That's alright. Back on the big screen. Still have to figure out why it does that. It's really annoying. So down should be 3,000 feet at Trop. Oh no, 1,500 feet, sorry. And we come down here, we can go to V speeds, so 5 137. There's our VREF.
P3Dv4 shot approach runway 18 right, speed 250 or greater so far. Sorry, American 354 minutes 18 center.
Yeah, snow on the ground in northern Florida. I'm not really convinced. Come on, Orbx. Really? There's really snowy areas down. Is that snow? It sure does look like snow, doesn't it? In Florida. Okay, if you say so. If you say so. I find that hard to believe. Somehow. Maybe it's. Let's imagine it's pale sand, shall we?
354 clear direct to Tommy. You just sent about.
Yeah, in fact, I think it is. I don't think that's. I don't think that's snow. I hope it's not snow.
354 clear direct to Tommy. You just sent a maintain 7000.
Oh, a little bit of cloud on the horizon there. That should be a sign of things to come. It's been lovely and clear here, but of course, typically as we get down there, the weather does like to deteriorate, unfortunately. Quite a long sector this. It's the first Delta flight I've done in a very long time. As I said before, earlier in the stream, because there's no auto throttle on this plane, it's not one that I can fly and just go off and leave it. Funnily enough, my next Air Canada flight is going to be in a CRJ as well. That will see us go from Halifax across to Ottawa. Other flights you can expect at some point, as I already said, Rome to Nice. Next Wizz Air is going to be Budapest down to Alicante. Ryanair is going from Poznan to Malta, and Fly UK is going to be going from Cologne to Heathrow. Not all of those I will necessarily stream. You may just get the landing, the descent and landing. Nips. On landing in Florida, we will vacate to the right. We get to see a little bit of cloud bubbling up now. Our top of descent is coming up soon as well, so we'll be able to begin our final phase down into southwest Florida. Passengers on board will be happy to be somewhere a bit warmer, won't they? Unless you like the cold, like me. Gee, I've just realised the whole flight I've left the seatbelt lights on. Idiot. There we go. Poor passengers. When you set up the decision height, I've just realised. Decision height is, what's your speed a minute? Going to be 200. So easy to speed up a little bit. There we go. Got the ILS already plugged in. As you can see, the cloud is starting to appear now. So yeah, once again we are going to be arriving into an anything but sunny Florida.
16,000 icon, CPS 1314.
I should hear quite a bit more starting to happen on the live ATC, which we're getting from Charlotte actually. Should really change that to something more local. Actually I might just do that. What we got locally, let's go to Florida, yep. Choice of airports, we'll get something from Orlando I think. Oh, speed, shut speed, tower approach, okay. MCO tower. Whatever, we're not flying into Orlando. Far from Orlando. Just across the other side of Florida. Orlando's more towards the east side. We're going to be on the west side of Florida, not a million miles away from Orlando. Yeah, very short hop across. Just outside of Tampa actually. Tampa's a little bit further to the south. The airport I've yet to visit on simulator. I've flown into Orlando a few times. Haven't done Miami either, come to think of it. There we go. Increase the range. See, this cloud scene here, this skyscape here, is exactly everything that annoys me at the moment, because it just looks unnatural, doesn't it? These clouds feel like they should be about, well, just have a feel of being a lot further below me. I mean, you do get high level cloud, you can get high level cloud like this, but it's just, if ever you've flown a lot in real life and you look out the window, you'll know exactly what I mean when you look at what's in front of you. You'll know exactly what I mean. It's annoying, and as I say, hopefully, I know I like to keep bringing up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, hopefully that will go a long way to giving a lot more realistic skies. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's got really high hopes for it. Hope we're not all disappointed, but from what I've seen so far, and from what I've been hearing, it does sound extremely positive. I'm sure it won't be flawless, but it will certainly give flight simming experience far in excess of anything that's come before, so that can only be a good thing. I've heard unconfirmed reports that the system requirements are not going to be too, because everyone's under the impression you're going to need a NASA computer to run it, and I'm sure obviously the better hardware you've got, the better it's going to look, obviously. But from what I've been hearing, and I can't obviously confirm these reports, but from what I've been hearing, you are going to obviously you're going to need a reasonably good system, but if you don't have a tip top, I'm talking about 2070 graphics card, for example. If you don't have that, you're still going to get a pretty damn good experience. I think internet connection is going to be the key, because of course you're also going to be streaming the scenery, and so if you've got a poor internet, sort of like, say, a less than, I mean, my internet download speed something like about 25, and apparently that's going to be okay. But if you've only got something like 0 to 5, then I think you're going to find you're going to be struggling a bit. But yeah, that's just hypothetical. I haven't obviously used the simulator myself. I can only go on the hearsay of others. Obviously there's an NDA, so sort of you have to take with a pinch of salt any information that does come out as to how reliable it is. I'm hoping to get on the next alpha, because I think it's the alpha 1 release out at the moment people are using. I'm hoping I'll be successful to get on the alpha 2, don't know when we'll hear about that, but I'm sure hopefully at some point most of us will be able to get our hands on it. Sure, it's been a slow old slog down here, hasn't it? Must be said. As I say, the winds haven't helped. We're getting buffeted about a fair bit at the moment, which is nice to see. Top of descent, still a fair way away. Whereas this is going to be quite a long sector, as I said already. We're one last weather update. Now there we go. The cloud base has risen to the wind's got up a bit. Visibility. It's good. The cloud base is at 1,200 feet now. So it was 700 feet. It's gone up to 1,200 feet. So it is improving. That is good news. In fact, sorry, I was looking. Yeah, it is right on the west coast. That's quite a bit further south. So we're coming over Tampa. It's quite far down southwest Florida. The airport's not. I was looking at a waypoint, not the airport, and I said it's just across from Orlando. It's not. It's much further south. So disregard what I said earlier, as I was looking at totally the wrong thing. So yeah, it's really good. The weather has improved. We are 40 nautical miles away from our TOD, so we will finally be beginning our descent momentarily. BREF is 134. It's coming down. So, are we going to make a decent landing in the CRJ? As I say, I don't really fly this plane enough to have a really good feel for it, how it handles. So we'll either fly. I can't believe it. We've only been in the air 1 hour 36. It feels like a much longer flight than that. Yeah, we'll either slam it on the deck or we'll float like mad. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. We will certainly do our best, that is for sure. So yeah, we can just see tempered beneath the clouds there. And our top of descent is not a huge way away now. Ah, finally coming up towards top of descent time. I tell you what, it feels like I've been in the air a lot longer than 1 hour 42. I don't trust that clock at all. Okay, we can configure for descent. So we want to take it down to 1,500. Now we need a vertical descent of about 2,500. There we go. Okay, so we're beginning our descent down into just in case I need to vector myself. Shouldn't. So yeah, good old weather. Look at that. Gotta love it. Gotta love the weather here. So we drop through 25,000 feet. Just coming out over the coast past Venice. Not the Venice unit. And there's a Naples further down as well. Gee. It's funny. So we've passed now. Oh, there's St. Petersburg above us as well. It's really weird seeing all these familiar European place names in really weird locations relative to each other here. I wonder if it works the other way when, you know, someone who lives in Florida travels over to Europe and it's like, oh my god, here's Naples looking totally different, totally different place. It's yeah, it's quite interesting. Increase our rate of descent a little bit as we drop down through 23,000 feet now, continuing our descent. Down into southwest Florida, so we're on descent. We should be arriving soon. It's just coming up to 11 o'clock Zulu time. So yeah, overcast unfortunately. We'll just get one last weather check. And we can see it's overcast at 1200 feet. So we continue our descent. There's a little bit of a break in the cloud. Oh no, maybe not. Get seatbelt signs back on. Ease back on the throttle a little bit. Drop down through 20,000 feet now. See the coast beneath us there. So come out over Port Charlotte. Local QNH, what is that? Destination station, a local QNH 1016. Better get that plugged in. There we go. Red Ascent 2000. Down. Fabulous! We've got the seatbelt signs on already. Total crosswind now. Yeah, a bit of turbulence. Some breaks in the weather. Let's ease right back on the power now because we need to drop this down to 250 knots. Rate descent. 19, stick on that. Okay, I think we're all good on these settings. Use that power back even more. Really need to bleed that speed off now. 1.7. The rate of descent as we drop down through 12,000 feet. Get the lights on in a minute. Landing lights are on as we drop below 10,000 feet now. Decreasing the rate of descent. Let's take the speed down to 20 knots. Now VREF is 134. Let's kill that speed right off because I want to go flap soon. Okay, we're established. Establishing. We get another notch out on the flaps. Don't know why I can't see the ILS diamonds. We're on the glide slope apparently. Okay, let's reduce to final approach speed. Let's go gear down. Let's get those flaps right out. We'll land on flaps 30, should be enough. Should be at the cloud base momentarily. Ooh, I'm getting hungry now actually. Will the dog have some lunch now? Okay, runway in sight. Ease back on the power a little bit. Just hitting the outer marker. We should drop out the cloud base any second now. I hope. There we go. Out we come from the cloud base, nicely lined up. Keep a watch on the speed.
Approaching 0, 6.
A little bit more speed. Bit low.
400.
Too much power. Load this way a bit more.
300.
There we go.
Minimums. 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 100. Minimums. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
That wasn't too bad. Weirdly, all the terminals seem to the other side, which I thought they were going to be. What's going on there? fair enough. We'll vacate across there because I don't think they've built the other part of the airport yet. So it shows how out of date some of these FS6 or P3D airports are. Welcome to Southwest Florida. I think that was actually a pretty reasonable landing for this thing. Maybe floated a little bit. Let's we'll go and park up, have a look at the landing rate, do the replay. We'll find a free gate. It's rather busy here. And there we go. On our left there. Uh, 211, yeah, that's okay, it's certainly not a batter, but it's certainly not a hard landing. That's firm landing, I think. Nothing wrong with that. Certainly one of my better efforts in this thing. And considering, I'm pleased, considering I haven't flown this for a while. There we go. So let's set the parking brake. Let's turn off. I always do the throttles the wrong way around. Turn off the engines, and we can file my PREP. Yeah. Come down to Dave. Across states. Ready for taxi. Let's make sure everything. Okay, don't let me set flaps 30, overhead stuff. I need that on, I need that on, I need that on, that's on. Beacon on, strobes on, nav on, good, flaps are set. Versus on. Okay, let's take a look at the replay. I think that was pretty good.
On runway 0,
Oh, shut up.
6.
See, there's nothing over there. There is now, but that's just how out of date this is. Nearest tower. Let's watch me come in there. Interesting viewpoint. Oh, good old chase plane with its super laggy. I don't know what is up with chase plane with some of its replay views. It just turns it into a slideshow for. It's really frustrating. Hopefully, it will suddenly remember what it's supposed to be doing in a minute, or not. That really is quite horrendous, isn't it? Okay, let's. We might have to abandon that. And no! All of a sudden, last minute it goes smooth. There we go. Ooh, we had quite a bit. Ooh, I don't from that angle. That didn't half look untidy. Let's. I'll tell you what. Let's rewind that.
On
let's
taxiway,
go with
on taxiway.
a. Come on, locked spot view. No, locked spot view. That's the one. Okay, so we were crabbing quite a bit into the wind, weren't we? Oops. I don't know why the replays are so buggy. We come down, quite a lot of flare. I don't know why those are set up. We killed the power, and ooh, nicely on the centre line there. Give me that. Didn't look the tidiest of landings, to be fair, did it? Didn't look the tidiest, but those away. We'll finish off with a nice wing view of the landing. Still say that looks like snow. Thank you very much for joining me on this flight. As always, I realise you, I always get these mixed up. I realise you had a choice of flight. Thank you very much for choosing this one. Wish you a pleasant onward browsing journey and hope to welcome you back on board another one of these flights in the very near future. So from here in a very overcast but mild southwest Florida, I leave you with this wing view landing on a runway 6, and we'll see you again in the very near future. Yeah, it's not bad, was it? So there we go. Farewell for now, and a very happy New Year.